Hello, Spilling the Sweet Tea fam. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am spilling the tea on how to make these raspberry cheesecake stuffed biscuits. And baby, when I tell you these biscuits were a 10 out of 10. Of course, anytime I'm making biscuits, I'm using my Miss Lena's biscuit bowl, which is a replica of my mom's bowl, as well as Miss Lena's buttermilk biscuit mix. You can get the biscuit bowl as well as the biscuit mix on spillingthesweettea.com. The buttermilk biscuit mix and the sweet potato biscuit mix is also available on Amazon. So as you see here, I'm just pouring my biscuit mix into my bowl. Baby, trying to show y'all I done spilt a little bit out of it, but it's all right. We're going to keep it moving. This is the beauty of my YouTube videos. You get to see all the things that I'm not showing you on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. To my biscuit mix, I just added a 1/4 cup of sugar. You just want to use a fork and just blend your sugar with your biscuit mix, just like this. I'm adding sugar because these are raspberry biscuits, so raspberries are a little tart. So I wanted to add a little bit of sugar. I got these freeze-dried raspberries from Amazon. Using fresh raspberries, they are too wet, so that's why I use freeze-dried raspberries in this recipe. So all I did was measure out a 1/3 cup of these freeze-dried raspberries. I crushed them up because they come whole, and I didn't want whole raspberries throughout my biscuits, so I wanted them to be a little bit crushed. So this is me crushing up the freeze-dried raspberries, and now I'm getting my 1/3 cup measuring cup and then just adding them to my biscuit mix. Because they're freeze-dried, they are so easy to just crush up and sprinkle into your biscuit mix. Once you have them added, you just want to use your fork to mix them in with your sugar and your biscuit mix. Y'all, anytime I'm making a pan of biscuits, I always think about my mom. The Miss Lena's biscuit bowl that I'm using is a replica of the bowl that she used to make her biscuits in my entire childhood. Over the years, I got so many questions about her bowl anytime I would make biscuits in my videos. So I decided to replicate it, and they dropped Labor Day weekend and completely sold out. But the bowls are now back in stock on my website, spillingthesweettea.com. 1/3 cup was not enough for me, so I decided to add a few more freeze-dried raspberries to my mixture. You can eyeball it or you can use however many you want. It depends on how raspberry-y you want your biscuits to be. I'm using a stick of frozen butter to make my biscuits. On the back of the packaging of the Miss Lena's buttermilk biscuit mix, I instruct you to use Crisco because that's the way my mother used her biscuits. My mother used to roll her biscuits in her hand. So not truly drop biscuits, but she wouldn't use a rolling pin to roll them out and then cut them out with a biscuit cutter. But for these particular biscuits, because I want them to have more structure, I'm using frozen butter. And I'm also going to use my rolling pin to cut out the heart-shaped biscuits. So as you see here, I'm just using my rotary grater to grate my frozen butter into my biscuit mixture. I love this rotary grater. I have it in my Amazon storefront. If you don't have one, I use it for cheese. You can use it for potatoes. You can shred anything or grate anything with that grater. I absolutely love it. So now all I'm going to do is just mix my grated butter into my biscuit mix and my sugar and my freeze-dried crushed raspberries. And like I said, I'm using a fork because that's what I saw my mother use when she would make her biscuits. Some people use their hands, but my mother always used a fork. The other thing that she used to do was make a well in the middle of her biscuit bowl, and she would use that well to pour the buttermilk into. So the way you're seeing me do it here is the Shirley May way. This is what she used to do. She would pull that flour mixture into the center of her bowl. This is the beauty of the Miss Lena's biscuit bowl because this is how she used to make her biscuits. She would pull that flour from the sides and just mix the flour mixture with the buttermilk in the center. It allows you to slowly mix everything together. To me, it improves the consistency of the biscuits, and it also is less messy because you can just pull everything right into the center just like this. And as you can see, I'm already starting to make a dough. Making biscuits is not hard. You just have to practice. When I tell you I used to study my mom so I could learn how she would make her biscuits, I had to watch her several times because she cooked so fast. Like, my mom and my grandma Mitty were fast cooks. Like, they would have something on the table in 1, 2, 3. I feel like I would blink and my mama would have the food ready. And I've shared this before. I started studying my mom a lot closer in the kitchen when I started seeing her show signs of early onset dementia and Alzheimer's. So that's one of the reasons why I started Spilling the Sweet Tea, was to really capture my mom's classic recipes and make sure I'm able to remember and can pass them down to my daughter Maya. Once I have my dough all together, I'm just going to knead it a few times. And I'm also going to make sure my flour mixture is completely incorporated. If you feel like your biscuits need more buttermilk, you can certainly add more buttermilk. Normally 1 cup is just enough, especially if you're using low-fat buttermilk. Now that your dough is ready, you just want to flour your surface. I clean my countertop extremely well, and I'm just going to add some flour on top of my clean countertop. And I'm just going to add my biscuit dough, and I'm going to use my rolling pin to roll out my biscuits. The key to making biscuits so they don't stick is to make sure your surface is floured really well, and then also you have floured your rolling pin, as you see me doing here. Now all you want to do is just roll out your biscuits. The key to tall, flaky biscuits is rolling them out, folding them several times, and then rolling them out again. It's important to repeat that process at least 2 to 3 times, especially if you want really nice tall biscuits. This process also helps you create layers in your biscuits. So if you like layered fluffy biscuits that are also really tall, like I mentioned, this is the process you want to make sure you follow. So you've seen me do this one time. I'm now doing this a second time. I am rolling out my biscuits just like this, and now I'm going to fold over my biscuits 1, 2 times. Sometimes I do 3, it just depends on my mood, but today I just did 2. And if you feel like your dough is getting a little sticky, just add a little bit of flour on top, and also make sure that your rolling pin is also still nicely floured. There are honestly only simple rules to making biscuits: floured surface, floured rolling pin, and making sure you are following this process of rolling them out and folding them 2 to 3 times. So this is my final time of rolling out my biscuits. I'm adding more flour because my dough is a little bit sticky and my surface got a little bit sticky as well. So I added more flour. Because I'm cutting these biscuits out into the shape of hearts, I don't want any stickiness. I want them to retain their heart shape. So that's why I'm taking my time and flouring everything perfectly. Because Valentine's Day is almost here, I cut out these biscuits into shapes of hearts. But baby, you do not have to do that. You can use a glass as a biscuit cutter, or you can get a biscuit cutter from like Amazon, Target, Walmart, wherever. But I'm a food content creator. I'm also a little bit extra, so I wanted to make sure my biscuits were cut out in the shape of hearts. So here I am cutting out my biscuits in the shape of hearts. They came out so cute. The one thing I forgot to tell you guys is to make sure you flour your biscuit cutter too. For something like this, I always flour my biscuit cutter because the way this biscuit cutter was shaped, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any problem cutting out my heart-shaped biscuits. So I'm just going to finish rolling out my remaining biscuit dough and cutting out my biscuits so I can prepare them for the oven. I bake my biscuits on 450 for about 12 to 14 minutes. Anytime I'm baking biscuits, I always brush on either buttermilk or an egg wash. You can also add melted butter on top. You can just brush on some melted butter. It really just depends on your preference. Once I cut out all my biscuits, I think I had about 10 heart-shaped biscuits on my baking tray. Before I brush on my egg wash, I just want to show you, this is a close-up of me cutting out my heart-shaped biscuits. They came out perfectly because, as I mentioned, I made sure that the bottom of my biscuit cutter was floured. And look at the little scallop edges. They were so cute. I feel like I got this biscuit cutter on Amazon, but don't quote me. I just love how cute they came out. Now I'm going to prepare my egg wash for the top of my biscuits. And anytime I'm doing anything with eggs, I always clean my eggs. Baby, this was the Shirley May way. My mama taught me to do this. So anytime I saw her doing anything with some eggs, baby, she will remove, I say, that egg snot from the eggs. I am just one of those cooks that always mirror what my mom did. There are just certain things when I'm cooking, I just do it my mama's way. And this is one of them. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But like I said, I'm just doing it because this is a Shirley May way. I'm making sure I get all of those little white pieces out of my eggs. And if you've been following me for a while, you know I'm not an egg person. Like, you'll never see me eating a scrambled egg, an omelet, poached egg, fried egg at all. I do not like to eat eggs, baby, unless it's a devil egg. Now, a devil egg, I love. I love me a devil egg, but I don't like eggs for breakfast. But of course, I cook with eggs, but I just don't like cook eggs in any form. So anyway, all you want to do is just whisk up your eggs just like this. And then you want to brush on that egg wash to the top of your biscuits. The egg wash really helps brown the biscuits. My mama used to always say, I like a brown biscuit. I don't like no light-skinned biscuit. And baby, she did not play about that. When I tell you, we used to go to Bojangles and get biscuits. Anytime she would go to Bojangles and order a biscuit, she would ask for a dark brown biscuit. And I can guarantee you, when she opened that bag and that biscuit was not dark brown, baby, she was going back and getting her another dark brown biscuit, and it better be hot too. My mom did not eat out a lot. She cooked a lot at home. So if she did frequent your restaurant, that was a compliment. Now that my biscuits are ready for the oven, I'm gonna work on my cream cheese filling. So to make the cream cheese filling, you're gonna need about 8 ounces of cream cheese. I normally use whipped cream cheese just because it's already softened, but I didn't have any, so I'm just using regular cream cheese that I let soften for a little bit. But to avoid that step, get whipped cream cheese. It's a lot easier to work with. So now I've added my cream cheese. I'm now going to add some powdered sugar. You're going to need 1 cup of powdered sugar to your cream cheese. Now the only other 2 ingredients you need is a splash of vanilla and then a splash of whole milk. So about a tablespoon of each. Baby, before I mix up this cream cheese mixture, look how pretty these biscuits turned out. They are so pretty. I'm so excited about how beautiful they turned out. Now all you want to do is mix up your cream cheese mixture. I'm using my cordless hand mixer. And baby, I fumble this all the time. Y'all getting the raw and uncut here on YouTube. I ain't showing this on Instagram and TikTok. But here on YouTube, baby, we showing all the bloopers, all the behind the scenes. Anyway, I had the beaters in the wrong hole, so I had to just make sure I switched them out. I really love this mixer because it's cordless. I just charge it every once in a while before I use it. But I really like it. It's very quiet. It's very light. And once you have the beaters in the right hole, it works very well. It just takes me a minute every damn time to get it together. So I'm just giving this mixture a really good mix. You want to make sure it's well incorporated. I say mix it on medium speed for about 2 to 3 minutes. If you wanted to, you could add a little bit of raspberry preserves to this cream cheese mixture. I didn't want to do that just because I had raspberries in my biscuits. But if you want to, you can just make plain buttermilk biscuits and then add raspberry preserves to your cream cheese mixture. Or you could do both. It's totally up to you. I think adding raspberry preserves would be pretty because it would make the mixture a light pink. So if you truly wanted to set it off for Valentine's Day and wanted to make everything red and pink and custom to Valentine's Day, you can do so. And baby, of course, Maya had to taste test my cream cheese filling. She loves to help me cook and she loves to be in the kitchen with me. And yes, that cream cheese mixture is a 10 out of 10 and Maya approved. Definitely delicious. So since I'm stuffing these biscuits, I'm just going to use my decorating tool, my dessert decorating tool, and I'm adding my cream cheese mixture into my decorating tool. I got this one from Amazon. I actually have 2. I have this plastic one and I have like a stainless steel one. I really like this plastic one a lot better. It's lighter. And I love the attachments that come with it. Because I'm stuffing these biscuits, I'm using this tool because it's giving me more structure to insert the cream cheese filling inside the biscuits. So now all I'm gonna do is grab one of my biscuits and make a hole with a knife at the top of my biscuits and just fill my biscuits with that cream cheese filling. Baby, look at that. When I tell you these were so cute and so good, the tartness of the raspberries and then the sweetness from this cheesecake filling was definitely a match made in heaven. These biscuits were so delicious. Of course, I love sharing different ways that you can make biscuits because I have my own biscuit brand, Miss Lena's. I love getting creative and coming up with different biscuit recipes. So I decided to make a glaze for these biscuits. You don't have to do this. This is an extra step that really isn't needed. But because I'm extra and because I wanted to decorate them with a little bit of icing, I decided to make some. So the icing is just powdered sugar, milk, and vanilla extract. So all you have to do is just add those ingredients to a bowl, give it a good whisk, and then you have a vanilla glaze for the top of your biscuits. So you know how you go to Bojangles and get a Bowberry biscuit? They have like that glaze on top. That's what I was going for these biscuits. But I ended up not putting them on all of the biscuits because I felt like it would be way too sweet with the cream cheese filling and then this glaze on top. But that's totally up to you. My husband is not really into cheesecake filling, so I didn't fill all of my biscuits with the cheesecake mixture. So for a few of these biscuits, I just topped them with this vanilla glaze. Baby, that's how we've been married for 10 years. We compromised up in the Davis household. When I'm creating my recipes, it's important that my family taste test my recipes. My neighbor also taste tests my recipes. So I want to make sure I get their approval before sharing my recipes with you guys. So now that you've added your glaze, or not, this is optional, you don't have to add it, your biscuits are ready to serve. And look how beautiful these came out. I was so proud of how these heart-shaped raspberry stuffed biscuits came out. They were absolutely delicious. It's now time for the taste test. Of course, I had to try them on camera. And when I tell you these biscuits were a 10 out of 10, if you enjoy watching this video, make sure to subscribe and share with a friend. Also, turn your notifications on so you don't miss my next recipe. Thank you guys so much for all of your love and support. You just got the tea on how to make these raspberry cheesecake stuffed biscuits. For more recipes or to order my cookbook, Memories on a Plate, go to my website, spillingthesweettea.com. See you next time.